Was it here where you first kissed me on the cheek? Where you held my hand and said you'd always be here for me? Was it here where we sailed the 7 seas? And we flew the fighter jet planes and scored at Wembley. This is all we have. This is a friendship forever life. What will call? The wings are waiting for the night to fall. Spread over the stage, can't keep me out. I've always bumbled through the doors of doubt. Power through the blanks, wait for pace. This riddle's just a race. Old self-pity's glance, this city's ways. I am the night, a tyrant of the shade. I am the spite, I am the pain repaid. I am the night, a fear that lies in shadows cannot fade. Crush the light. I am the night. The ripple of a heartbeat quickening. Fear behind the eyes, amnesia prey. The broken bones riddle the alleyways. Terror from the skies. Check my head, I guess the joke's on me. I'm not laughing at the irony. I am the night, a tyrant of the shade. I am the spite, I am the pain repaid. I am the night, a fear that lies in shadows cannot fade. Crush the light. I am the night.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Longer and Harder, the show on the internet where we take a subject and we go deeper. How are you all doing today? I hope you're having yourselves a wonderful, wonderful Sunday afternoon, keeping your all selves safe and whatnot. It's been a bit. We haven't quite done. It's been a couple weeks. Sorry about that. I was finishing up the semester at school, and now I did summer break stuff. So yeah, I'm all done. I'm jumping straight to beer because we don't have beer of the week, but that's besides the point. Um, yeah, we're all done with school. I'm all done with school. I hope a lot of you are getting close to being done with school. I know that it's around that time starting. Hope we'll have good summer plans for everyone. Oh yeah, I'm all done at least for now. Um, so yeah, that's what else I got for welcome. How's it going? Hey Jelly, how's it going? Um, so yeah, I don't know. I guess we can jump right into that other thing that I do. Housekeeping. Housekeeping. There really isn't much. I'm done with school. I have a little bit of extra time. However, I'm going back to work on Monday, which means, yeah. What is it? Beer of the hour. We should just make beer of the hour. Beer of the week. I'll talk about why. Yeah, we haven't done beer of the week, in a while, which is sad. It's sad. I miss being able to do beer of the week. But I'll talk about that in just a second. Um, yes, I'm going back to work on Monday. I have not been at work in a bit. It's been like a solid month since the last time I was at work. Like for a full day. I think I tried going to work last Monday and I didn't do so well. Like my job is not made for social distancing at all. Remotely isn't made for social distancing, so I just couldn't handle it. So I stayed home for a week without pay. My bosses let me do that. So but I'm gonna have to go back. Well, I don't have to, but I've decided I'm gonna try to go back tomorrow. See how well I do. And yeah, let's see how things are. Things are rough in Nebraska in general. I think we are opening up, but I think our cases are still going up. So that's I think. Hey, Just Trevor, how are you doing today? Um, so yeah, that's more or less that. So yes, we're not doing beer of the week. I do have a beer from Lucky Bucket. Lucky Bucket is doing a where they are. They're not open, obviously, but they're still open to do cases. So they're selling cases for $20 for a case of beer, which is fantastic. So I've been pretty much just living off of Lucky Bucket beer for a while, and lots of wine that's been getting shipped to my house. That's been most of my nourishment. So I went. My wife and I went yesterday. I picked up 3 cases of beer. 3 cases of a lot of beer. We picked up a lot of beer. So we have a lot of beer. So I'm drinking the Drunk Thumper. It's a brown. I think I've done it before. It's pretty good. I like it. Um, it's a pretty good beer, but yes, because of the very obvious reason, just not doing beer of the week because I don't like going to the grocery store, or not the grocery, like the store that I go to for beer. I don't like going there because people in Nebraska are idiots and don't know how to social distance. So I just don't. And most of the breweries are closed unless you get like growlers and things like that. So I don't know. We just kind of put a hold on it. So we just drink beer. There's just no beer of the week. Maybe eventually I'll figure out a system to do like go buy a growler from whatever Breakaway or something, and we can have one. But for now, it's just we just sit around and drink beer. It's only rough in Nebraska because tornado season is starting. It is starting. We did have the tornado sirens going off. Wednesday they were testing them Wednesday morning. So that's fun. It's fun around here. Yeah, it's Nebraska. Also, my hair is getting ridiculously long, and I do with it. Like it hasn't gotten to the ridiculous long, but it's way longer than I want it to be. So look at that. I look like I stepped right out of the 50s. Look at that shit. We have the warning system being tested here. We test ours every depends on what part you're at, but we test them on Wednesday mornings at 10 or 11 Wednesday. The first Wednesday of the month at 10 or 11 we test them, and the town next door to me tests them at Saturday mornings, I believe, at like 11 like the first Saturday of the month. How cold was it yesterday? It's been pretty chilly. I think it was only like 50 yesterday. I think that's how hot it got. So it's yeah. Um, it's been pretty cold. It's pretty cold out today too. I went out. I had to wear a sweater outside. It's really. It's mostly been windy and it rained a lot yesterday. It hasn't been too bad. Anything else I got for housekeeping? Not really. I have more free time. I am thinking about what I do on videos. I did get my computer fixed. Yay us. I did get my computer fixed, and I didn't get it fixed. I had to go through the hard drive and fix the things, but it's back to being itself again. That's good. Um, it's up and it's no longer running on my external hard drive. It's running back on a hard drive, which is so we might do that. What was wrong with your computer? I don't know. There was something. I think the internal hard drive got corrupted, and I couldn't fix it. So I had to. Not that I couldn't fix it. It was just I obviously could fix it. It was having a really hard time trying to fix it, and I was also needed my computer because I was trying to finish up school, so I just ran it through like the SSD, right? Internal. I think it's called the Fusion drive on a Mac, but the internal drive. So rather than run it off the internal drive, I ran it off an external hard drive that I have for like a week or two while I finished up school and stuff. And not an SSD. Okay, well I don't. Whatever it is, it's called the Fusion. I thought it was an SSD. Might not be. So I was running off a hard drive. It's true. It is some. Yeah, it's some words. It's some words. Yeah, but it's up and running again. Like it wasn't like not running before. It was just part of an external. Now it's running off its internal hard drive and it's doing fine. Kind of. It just took some. It's fine. So yeah. Maybe I'll try to work on videos. We'll see. I had been hobbying. We're gonna get to videos. Look, I made a box. I want to show off my random ass box, but I made a box. It's gonna get painted today, hopefully. Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I've been doing. I've been making cardboard boxes I've been taking big cardboard boxes and making them into small cardboard boxes, and that has been my hobby during this quarantine. So that's cool. I hope you all have found things to not drive you crazy. That's been what's not been driving me crazy. It's great. It's great. Okay. With that said, we do have ourselves. That's about all housekeeping. We're just rambling at this. Ramble. Okay. So we have ourselves a video menu for today. I believe I got it right. Right one. So we have 7-Year-Old Transitions by Blair White, Immigration by ART, Debunking Evolution by Genesis Apologetics, Geekdom, SJWs versus Sonic Geekdom 101, question mark by racist journalism because I'm not entirely sure what he's talking about. Interview with Doctor something or another by Randomer Cam. And Orcs Are Racist by the Quartering, or Orcs Are Cancelled, something like that. Something about orcs and racism, which is the Quartering. The Quartering doesn't understand what people say when they say things because he's a dumbass. I'm pretty sure he's a deliberate dumbass. I don't genuinely think. So yeah, that's more or less what we got there. And then anything else I got for? That's about it. So we can vote if you'd like to vote for any of the things that are up on the screen. You can give yourselves a upside down eye, and I don't know where you know what Cloudbot should be here. Let's do upside down eye Twitter because that's a good one there. So hopefully Nightbot's here, but we got a poll ready for that. Hopefully, if not, we'll just pick. We'll just put numbers in the thing. Yeah, so I don't know if Cloudbot's here. There's Cloudbot. All right, there we go. So, starting poll, if you would like to vote for any of the things in the video menu in front of your screen, you can do an upside down eye vote and then the number you'd like to vote for. Like I said, all the things are there for you to look at. The newest one is number 7. That's pretty much number 7's gonna probably get all the votes. It's the Quartering. Oh, speaking of the Quartering, not the Quartering, but the reason that I know the Quartering exists is because of his bitching about little girls not having a big enough breast for him. When he complained about Shira, the final season of Shira comes out on Friday. Um, yeah, so you should check that out. It's on Netflix. It's been a great show. I'm gonna be real sad about it ending at last because it's been a really good show. I've really enjoyed it. So definitely go if you have Netflix. You should definitely watch Shira. It's been a fantastic show. Um, so yes, debunking evolution. Yeah, we got. I mean, I don't mind debunking evolution. It's not debunking debunking these guys. It's pretty much creationist things. What was I gonna say? I wanted to talk about things. Anti-science people are all the rage right now. It seems like. That's like most of the internet, or at least most of Twitter seems to be anti-internet things or anti-science things, which is fascinating. So I'm it'll be interesting to see what happens with all the anti. So far, my favorite anti-science person is Elon Musk, and I'm really curious as to what flat earthers are gonna do with Elon Musk now, because he's been such an anti, not necessarily an anti-flat earther. That's not his thing. But flat earthers like to talk about him quite a bit. So I'm really curious as to what they're gonna do. Um, once like now that he's kind of come out, not more like more or less on their side. Honestly, I'm at the point that I'm tired of his nonsense. That he's no really no different than a flat earther at this point. Just kind of science denialism all around. Like now that he's in their camp, I really wonder what they're gonna do about it with all these years of anti Elon Musk talk from flat earthers. Embrace their new billionaire. I think he's the new billionaire. Gotta. God, it's real sad that that's the thing. Elon's just mad that he didn't get 20 million in stock options because the virus made him miss his target. God, dude. I hope it's something that petty, but at the same time I don't, because he's being such a complete and utter jackass that like I would hope that he'd be such a complete and utter jackass for a good reason, not just for such a petty reason. But honestly, it probably is. You're probably right. It is something that petty. But yeah, no, he's at this point, in my opinion, he's really no different, no different than most flat earthers or anti-vaxxers. All the same thing. It's been quite interesting. I did see who was it, Hoaxeye on Twitter had a video of these, or somebody put up a video of like crows or some bird like animal. Some bird like animal like building a nest in a five, like at a, not a 5G tower, a cell tower. It might have been 5G. And they were like, look, even the birds want to take down the 5G towers. And it was hilarious because all they were doing was building a nest in it, not actually taking it down. And it also like entirely goes against the like the setup, which is the not the setup, appropriate story, popular story that the 5G kills birds. So it was kind of funny to see that, like, you're contradicting yourself, guys. But again, not that they care. They don't care. Why would they care? That makes sense. All right, you got about 30 seconds left to vote. If you have not voted yet, remember, upside down eye, vote, and then the number you like to vote for. It looks like creationists are gonna win today. I have to talk about creation. I was looking through my like, I have a playlist for these videos, and one of them is gone, and I can't tell which one it is. Oh, it looks like it was the ARTV one is gone. Huh. Huh. I wonder where they went. I'm gonna have to find them because yeah, they seem to be gone. The creationist video is very, very long. So it is going to. We're not gonna make it through it. I'm gonna say that now. All right, so that is all of your time left for voting. We are all done. As soon as Cloudbot decides to get its shit together, we will Cloudbot will get its shit together. There you go. We will complete that vote, and number 3 has won. So we are going to talk about creationist. That's fan. Gotta love the creationist. We are still gonna do this on YouTube side and not download the video because I still haven't done that. So um we're just gonna stick to that. So it might be a little laggy. I think it was a little laggy the last time we did this this way, which sucks. But what can we do? Honestly, so we got ourselves the open you up. Turn that off. There we go. So name of the video is. Let's hope. The name of the whole video is Debunking Evolution, a full video. It is from a YouTube channel called Genesis Apologetics. Who'd like? They've turned off comments. I wonder why. It's not too old of a video, not even quite a year old. Ooh, we have look at this. They have a little synopsis. You guys see that synopsis? Yeah. Most public school students today receive over 200 pages of evolution teaching before graduating high school, leading many Christian students to abandon their faith or live with a watered-down faith. That's like a you problem. That sounds like such a you problem. Watered-down faith. That's I really don't quite get what the but I'm not religious. But like when I was religious, like the whole like evolution versus science thing wasn't like a big deal for me, so I don't quite get it. I haven't actually started you might. I haven't actually started. Unless you can't hear me. So yeah, look, I personally never had issues with it. I know that obviously other people do, right? Like genuinely other people do seem to have issues with whatever with the goodness, I can't speak. Generally do have issues with the whole I find it kind of weird. And I also just realized that yeah, the audio isn't necessarily set up, so we should get that set up. Huh. Audio input. Get one going. Oh, it is there. You are there, audio input. Where are you? There you properties. Let's get you to that. There we go. Okay. So hopefully audio will work just fine. We'll give it a try here. So yes, this is I was reading a thing and then I got distracted. This video program includes 6 video-based lessons that address the top 10 evolution theories. Oh, we have top 10 evolution theories. I love that. That are taught in public schools today. Ideal for students between 5th and 10th grade. The 6 lessons include why creation, Bible history, real or fiction. Bible history, real or fiction. That already lets me know that we're not going to exclusively talk about evolution. Human evolution. Lesson 4, 101. Adaptation and natural selection. Lesson 5, 102. Common ancestors, branching and homology. And lesson 6, 201. Fossils, whales, and extinction. Oh, that seems interesting. So yeah, this is going to be their case for why evolution isn't true. Is it real? Okay. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully. I hit play, so at this point I'm just waiting for it. Did I hit play? It is going a very long. I don't know. You can read. They weren't gonna be cool and do like the Star Wars title card. There it goes. Neat little intro. I'll give you that much. Ooh, feel like I want to skip ahead. Things got intense there. No, maybe I won't. Cause then tell me how the audio is. By the way. I can't. It sounds fine on my end. Look at these things. These things look neat. I do love these. I do love their fancy things. I miss the not so fancy. Like what's that one doctor that like Logic used to talk about all the time. Who's got like God, he was fantastic. Doctor something. He was shitty. But like his real shitty setup is just my favorite. John Pemberton? Yeah, Pemberton. Pemberton, is that the name? Something like that. It's John something. Hamilton? Yeah, Don Pendleton. Yeah, Pendleton. That's it. That's it. He's the guy. I miss his like real shitty like setup. It's great, and I know it probably wasn't shitty for the time, but like looking into it now, it looks real cringe, which just gives it so much more. Top 10 evolution theories: the theory of evolution, two, the theory of evolution, electric boogaloo. Oh, the theory of evolution, revengeance. I love that. Oh, oh goodness. All right. Yes. With John and Jane, what every Christian student should know. John and Jane. Oh my. Oh, we're gonna start with a skit. We're gonna start with this. You can always do. There's a live free or die hard creationist, not creation, evolution thing. Like there's a whole survival of the fittest joke in there somewhere. I can't obviously do it, but yeah, I don't know. Live to breed or die hard, I suppose. Pendleton, there we go.
I am evolution. I am random chance accidents, the brainless, purposeless nothing, which somehow leads to everything.
I am creation. I show order and completion.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do that. Live to breed or die out. There you go. Oh god. So okay, so they're gonna go with evolution is just randomness. Which is fantastic. God. It is. I'm a Mac up. What was the one that I always liked? There's the PS3. Was it the PS3 and the Wii one that I really enjoyed? I thought that was hilarious. The PS3 and Wii, with the spunky Wii and the very powerful but somber PS3. I don't remember. I'm a strawman and I'm a walking stereotype. Yes. So yes, we're going to apparently stick to the we're apparently going to stick to the idea that evolution is just random. Like it's just random, which is hilarious. Like there is randomness to evolution, randomness to the universe, right? But that doesn't mean it's not governed by I wouldn't call it law, but by rules. There we go. It's not like it's not governed by rules. Like it's no different than I'm gonna go with chemistry. Like it's no different than chemistry, as in yes, there's randomness in chemistry. Like the chances of whatever two things meeting together, whatever is random, but that doesn't mean that the results are random. We can know what the results are if two things come together, or whatever, two chemicals. You heat up it might be random that water gets heated up, but we know what we can follow rules to know what the consequence. Molecular statistics. There's an there's an actual legit term to the thing I'm talking about. Molecular statistics. Yeah. So so they're gonna ignore the part that they don't like, which is that there actually are rules to evolution, but they don't really care. That's not what they're here for. They're here for a strawman argument. Okay. Creation is creation orderly. I don't know. I mean, if you say so, say so.
I had to break a few scientific laws to get here. The law of conservation of mass energy, which says new matter of energy can never be created nor destroyed.
Oh my goodness, what are we at? 1 minute and we've already done the second law of thermodynamics. Go, God, we need a bingo card for this. It's already we are at second law of thermodynamics. So no. Okay, for God, everything. The problem, you have said one real dumb thing, but what's it? Fractal. It's so fractally wrong that we're gonna sit here and explain everything that is wrong with that. Which is one, evolution is not like it obviously involves matter. You can't have evolution without matter. That's fairly obvious, but it's not. Evolution is not about matter. Like there's nothing in evolution that says, what's all this about? We are talking today, Harry. We are talking about evolution or debunking evolution by Genesis Apologetics today. I should change the name of the thing. Well, why don't we do that? Can I do that? I can do that live. Can. Let's see. We'll go with longer and harder. Debunking evolution. Because why not, right? Debunking evolution. That's what we're doing. It's not what we are doing, but what we're listening. Evolution. Because yeah. So according to these people, they are the lady here is evolution is evolution straw man. That's what this lady. Someone should tell them they can't debunk. But yeah, her biggest concern is, according to her, she's evolution. So she has broken the laws of thermodynamics to exist, which is not really a thing because, like, no, evolution doesn't contradict thermodynamics. Evolution doesn't say anything about the way that matter is created or destroyed. Like, it's something. Evolution can only exist once we have living things that replicate. Right? Like, I think those are the two things. I don't know, someone who knows evolution, but there might be a third. I think those are the two things you need. Something living. Not even living. Does it living? I'm not even sure it needs to be living. I could be wrong on that one. I could be wrong on the living bit. It might just need reproduction and that might be it. I think that might be it. So it's got nothing to do with matter. I maybe she'll explain. I doubt it though. So yeah, there we go. Fun, stupid.
The law of causality, which says that every effect must have an equal or greater cause.
What? The law of causality. Oh, are we allowed? I didn't realize we were allowed to just make up laws. I like this game. What laws can we just make up out of thin air and call them laws? We should like, God. Sorry, the only thing I can think of was like me remembering Sargon of Akkad making up a whole law for himself. Is there a cause greater than God? Well, look, like if we're gonna make this, of course, you know, the very obvious argument against like creationism, if we're gonna go with the law of causality, is God also, like, if something greater needs to cost something smaller, which is what she's saying, which I'll talk about that, because that's wrong as a law, but that's besides the point. Something greater, you need something greater to cost something smaller, right? Like, I guess. God, it's such a dumb big thing to say. Then there must be therefore something greater than God, because otherwise God is also breaking your made up law of causality. Like, that's just what it is. Causality isn't a law, but a fundamental principle in quantum mechanics kind of breaks it. Yeah. The other thing that I don't know if the what they use is that same, like, yeah, that was what I was gonna say, is I don't think quantum mechanics says anything about size. And the thing that I was thinking about, and y'all might have seen this before, but there's this really cool thing that happens with I saw it. I think Mythbusters kind of did a thing with this, where you can take like a tiny little what are they called, domino, and you can like make a stack of dominoes that gets bigger and bigger and bigger until like this big ass domino can be knocked over by this little domino. Mythbusters did a thing with this, and it's really cool. So you can have something like this little with with very little energy put into it cause something big. So even this idea of causality needing something bigger is disproven by just like general observations of things. I like, if we're gonna go with size, like, seeds kind of contradict this. Like, if we're gonna have this stupid ass argument, right? Seeds contradict this because you have a tiny seed that goes into a giant plant or a giant tree. And so according to their law of causality, that doesn't make sense, because you can't have something this small cause something that big. It just doesn't make it. Every repulsion is a result of a couple of molecules getting excited enough to start reacting. Yeah. So it makes no sense. If you're gonna word it that way, if you're gonna word your law of causality as something bigger you need something bigger to cause something smaller, and it doesn't work the other way around. It falls apart with general observation. So way to go, creationist. You done goofed. You done goofed.
Yet I ask you to believe that everything came from nothing. Not to mention the law of biogenesis.
Everything came from another one, has nothing to do every time. Nothing I to explode. Excited. Yes, don't we all? But that one follows the law of causality. Their law of causality. So yes, evolution has nothing to do with the thing. What was I talking about with everything coming from nothing, whatever that means? Has nothing to do with it at all. Like, evolution does not care about Big Bang stuff. Their evolution, the prequel, abiogenesis. There we go. So yeah, this lady just genuinely doesn't know what she's talking about. Can I make her a bit louder? I certainly can. And then she's about to talk about abiogenesis. Let's listen to that now.
Which says that life always comes from life. Yet I teach that life
Always comes from life, which is fine. Like, I disagree with you in that, but whatever. It's a funny little rule. Which again, so again, we're just taking your thing. We haven't even gotten to your thing, your creationist partner. But let's start with that. Life always comes from life, which means, right? If we're gonna follow this rule, life always comes from life. Then, if we're gonna go with the creationist story, then there's Adam and Eve. They must have been created by life, which we're gonna say is God, which means that God is life. Which means in order for God to exist, because he's life, because life always comes from life. It can't come from non-life, right? Which means that God's got to have a daddy. So who's God's daddy is what we're gonna ask today. Hey, Rad. Even assuming God life would still have to come from non-life at some point. Yeah, like, just it's what are they called? Like eternal regression, something like that. Like infinite regression. There we go. It's an infinite regression, right? We're like we'll just sit here. Like if you're always gonna if life always has to come from life and it can't come from non-life, then eventually, like, we're gonna get to the God question. We're gonna be like, where did God come from? Gonna always. It is turtles all the way down, 100%.
life came from non-living matter.
I never go against these scientific laws because I am created by the one who made the energy.
And so, who created the energy? Like, we're gonna start there.
Great cause that made all the effects.
The great cause. So no. What's that? You just no. You can't just say these rules apply to everything. Like evolution girl just said this. These rules apply to everything. They just magically don't apply to your God because you say so.
Living God who created life, matter, the laws of nature, and all things.
I am marked by an invisible past. Fossils show none of my expected in-between forms.
Of course they do. You just don't like it. Oh my goodness, this is good. I do like. I haven't had a good laugh in a while. Of course they show. They just don't show the ones that you like. Number 8, the theory of evolution. Cambrians don't look at explosions. Oh goodness. So no, the fossil record shows just a pretty good line. I think, of course, the problem with the bottle, and someone will bring this up because, my God, creationists, like flat earthers, like so many people, right, haven't their arguments haven't changed in however many hundreds of years creationists have been a thing. Like there's a thing where you can show them, here's fossil A and here's fossil B, and then you can show them fossil C in between, like, hey, look, it's got some of the traits between the two, right? You can show them that, and they're always going to be like, well, what's the one in between here? and then you can show them that one, and they'll show you the one. They'll ask you for the one in between, which is that's always been their argument. It's not going to change any. It's because they define between forms like the crocodile. True, because they're idiots and don't understand how the tree the evolutionary tree works, and that it's not it's not a line. But yes, no, we can see in fossil evidence and in other fossil evidence is good. The ones that I like are, what are they called? They're kind of retrograde something viruses. There's this one kind of virus that it leaves a genetic marker in your DNA pretty much. And so you can see it, you can actually track it between species that exist now, and then you can track it backwards other species. It's neat stuff. Later the Futurama bit. It's okay. Evolution lady. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Go back.
I am witnessed in the book that tells how I came about, the Bible.
Okay, there, buddy. All right. You know, you do you.
Talked about in almost every science textbook. Their information often changes and disagrees, but it's all the truth.
This is such a funny thing. You know what, we were talking about this entirely. We're gonna like tangent. We were talking about this in my my English class. So one of the things, well, are way smarter than I am, so you all have not English degrees. But for those of us with English degrees, one of the things that we obviously always bump into is people giving us a real hard time about having English degrees. Like, what are you gonna do with that English degree, right? Money wise and job wise and whatnot. But one of the things that we got a lot of pushback from is sciencey folks when it comes to English degrees, right? Because one of the and again, this is something we talked in class. Disagree with me. I will talk to you about it. Is one of the reasons that we clash a lot is because a lot of English is interpretation. So somebody's reading of a piece of literature can be completely different than someone else's reading of a piece. And so we get into a lot of disagreements about the fact that there's a lot of, it's subjective and it's not as objective as science is. But one of the points that my professor brought up is the fact that even science isn't it's not even that objective, because science does change, right? It's not like we have the answer to science now and it will never change again. It will change. That is one of the features of science, not one of the downfalls. So I just find it really funny that this lady is pretty much the exact same thing. I can't believe science changes all the time. How dare it? How dare it improve? This, by the way, a lady who is using what was this video made 2019? Who is using 2019 technology, using a camera, using the internet. I'm sure she uses modern medicine. I'm sure she flies in airplanes. I'm sure she takes more than enough advantage of modern agriculture. I'm sure she's got an iPhone of some variety. She's got a smartphone. She uses telecommunications. And so this is a lady who will gladly complain about how science changes and yet also still embrace the ever-changing products of science, right? I can't trust science. Here, let me stick this thing on the internet, which is entirely different now. And it is done very differently now than it was when it was first inception. Let me talk about how change is bad on a platform, on a medium that is ever changing, using technology that is ever changing. Yeah, so she doesn't actually care that it's changing. She cares that it disagrees with her. That's it. As for the STEM Lord, I reserve my right to make fun of people with English degrees. I think they're just called retroviruses. Is that what they're called? Okay. Science is objective, the best we have for now. Yes. Yes, but it's not objective. Yeah, there isn't a one answer. It's fine. It doesn't have to. Idiots like this think there should be. Okay, here we go.
At least for today.
My book has stood the test of time. Like the
has been so wrong every time.
God that revealed it, my truth, never changes.
It doesn't. I mean, except for the part that it does, which is also the funny part, right? Which like it never changes except for when it does. Like it never changes unless we're going to, all of us, like, how many interpretations of what's that one creature in Job, Leviathan? How many interpretations of Leviathan are there? How many interpretations of dinosaurs are there? How many times have rules been interpreted differently? Like, no, it changes even within your church, right? Even if you were to take your group of church goers, right, and you were to pull them on like how their interpretation of a passage or whatever, they would each have something different to say. It's changed over time, right? I think the Catholic Church is a great example of this, who has in the last whatever 20-30 years have been embracing more progressive ideals. They're still assholes, mind, but you know, they're changing their interpretation of the Bible. You've changed your interpretation of the Bible. Everybody like, don't pretend like it actually is objective. It's not. Also, it's wrong like several times, so that's a thing. Theory of evolution, 50 Clades of Gray. Theists love to see science refining over time with new evidence as a weakness. Ask them how their Bible was put together and how do they know to be true and unchanging. So what version of the Bible never changes? Didn't Saul die 3 times? Saul died 3 times. I haven't read the Bible in a bit. Yeah, what version of the Bible is a good question, right? It's always an excellent question. This is also the book that calls bats birds, if I remember correctly. So it gets a lot of things wrong. It gets plenty of things wrong. So, but it never changes. So you can't change it. If the Bible says that pi is 3, which I think it does, or 3.1, 3 or 3. No, I think it says 3. Like it says pi is 3, then pi is 3, and it can't be changed, and that's it. Like, and bats are birds, and that's it. Like, the Bible doesn't change, and you can't change that. The Bible says the bats are birds, and you better stick to that. It says a couple of other things about what are the kinds of creatures that throw up their food and read it. There's a name for it. Ungulates. Biology's not my. Okay. With that said,
I am clever storytelling. If what you see doesn't fit with what I'm saying, we'll make it fit. I only need a small amount of evidence to be considered true, because everyone wants to believe me.
Oh my goodness. That projection is super strong in you. It's fantastic. This only applies to literalists, though. Yeah, and they are, as far as I can tell, literalist. Or I don't know if they are. That's a good question, actually. I don't know. I'm assuming that they're literalists because they're creationists. So I don't know how literalist they literally are. Hello, as a semi-creationist, I have unique thoughts on the matter. I base my opinion on science, and where science fails is religion. Okay. What's the thing? I'm not religious. Like in the slightest am I religious. I will like I make fun of these guys, particularly these guys. I will say this much: there's a whole lot. There are a whole lot of studies about spirituality and the importance of spirituality. So if in some way that I'm like offending your sense of like being able to be spiritual, I don't mean to. I'm really making fun of these guys, because I understand that spirituality is important for like the human or whatever, but so I don't know what you mean by the places where science fails. Is that just like the things that we haven't learned yet? Like is that what you mean? I think kind of. I don't take this show as an attack on religion. I take it as an attack on stupid people. Okay, good, because that's what I'm trying to. There's a long-standing book of nature, book of scripture in Christianity, specifically Catholicism. You should use the book of nature to re-examine your interpretation of the book of. Number 9, the theory of evolution, 6 kingdoms. One of the earliest found examples of the gospel doesn't even have Jesus resurrecting. I think it was Luke. I forget. I like there's a whole lot of things with the New Testament books. Mostly how much they copy from each other, which is fantastic. Copy from like word structure, like sentence structure. Sorry. How similar all three of the main gospels are. And I think if I remember this from when I studied Bible stuff in college, there's a hypothesized fourth book that that like historians hypothesize existed, and that's what fills in a lot of the gaps that don't match between like the between Luke and whatever Paul or what I forget what the so there's some really interesting stuff when it comes to Bible and how it's changing, whatnot, and where the sources are. There's some interesting stuff out there. I had a fun class studying. All right, with that said, this person just does something stupid, so we'll move on.
I am the search for truth, the narrow path. Even when you're given amazing evidence I was made by the creator of all, most will not acknowledge me.
You'll be popular.
Oh no, we're doing the persecution thing. We're gonna definitely do the persecution thing because we can't be Christians. The things that we don't know, that is what I mean. Like, what occurs after death. I think religions could help people to terms with death. Yeah. And like I said, there's lots of people who are very spiritual out there, and that's fine. I don't have no like. I don't take issue. I take issue with religion when it starts to harm people. For the most part, it's definitely like if you want to believe in something, you're not going to be anti-science with, or you're not going to harm people with your belief, then I really there's definitely like a point where there's a couple of different hypothesized documents. The Q document is the most famous one. I think that's the one I'm talking about. It's been a while. Nobody is cooler than the dude who's really into science, right? Yeah, no, they're the cool ones. Nerds are cool. Yeah, they are the cool ones. They are certainly the cool ones.
If you believe in me, even if I'm wrong, which of course I'll cleverly cover.
You will
I love this skit. It's so bad.
be ridiculed if you believe in Jesus the Creator, but
Oh, your poor persecution complex. Oh my goodness. What are the statistics of religion in the States? I know let's see. Let's go can I go to, where's the thing that I use for this? Have it? Oh goodness, I thought I had one. Okay, I'm gonna go around here. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Nope. Dude, I thought I had one. Let's look up the statistics for religious stuff. Just religious belief. Pew. Pew. Okay. I'm not sure how much. Yeah, you can see that. Okay. So here is religious beliefs in just the U.S., which I'm gonna assume they're Americans because America is obviously. So explore religious groups in the U.S. by tradition and family denomination. The unaffiliated unaffiliated has gone up quite a bit. Unaffiliated is at 22.8%. So 22.8% of, and this is today, individuals are unaffiliated. So that doesn't necessarily mean they're atheists and agnostics, which is what they have here. It's just that nothing in particular. So this doesn't 15 is nothing in particular. So this doesn't mean that like 22% of the U.S. population is an atheist, right? That just means that they don't have a particular religion, or they or something in that range. So for the most part, 70% is religious. So this whole idea that like you are going to like somehow being religious, especially in the U.S. I can't and I honestly I use the U.S. but I can't think of a country um that would that has like a majority atheist population that I can think of. Like I think most countries in the world have some form of religiosity. Spirituality might also be it, Jelly. And so it's definitely so this whole persecution, this whole persecution mentality is there's no foundation to it. You just feel like you're being persecuted, mostly partly because you get made fun of on the internet for being wrong. But that's that's just it.
In him, there is hope and purpose. I am a fingerprint of the eternal God, and you are a reflection of his image.
I am freedom. I free you from having to be responsible to anyone.
I wish, right? Like I genuinely wish, that like that believe in evolution would somehow make like give you freedom, as if social rules and expectations don't exist. As if the rest of society is somehow irrelevant, right? And also, and I know that it's an overused statistic, but it's very useful at least to contradict this. I don't necessarily think that I don't think it necessarily says anything about atheists or Christians. But the majority of by a huge amount, the majority of individuals in prison are Christian or religious of some form. And again, and I don't think this says anything about like whether Christians are good people or bad people, or it says anything about that atheists are like better than Christians or anything like that. I don't believe that. But if you're going to make the argument that somehow you being believing in evolution somehow like just gives you the automatic freedom to do whatever you want and makes people amoral or just whatever, if you're going to make that argument, the statistics behind it don't actually match up with that. Like statistics behind it show that Christians engage in crime, at the same rate as pretty much everyone else. Like there is no difference. You would expect to see a difference, right? You would if this was true, you would expect to see a difference between I bet you could even do, and there might even exist, a statistics of how many people who commit crime believe in evolution versus how many believe creationism. And I bet that they are probably the same. I bet that there's very, very little difference between this video is just one of the reasons why there is no need to satire creationists. It's true. They do a very good job of it themselves. Does this sketch the entire video? I don't think so. We're only like 2 minutes in, but we'll watch a little bit more.
But yourself.
Freedom to die. I point to the one who gives freedom to live. Freedom to be loved by the one who knows you inside and out forever.
Okay there, buddy.
I reflect a society that declares we don't need God. We are our own gods, if you must use that word.
I reflect the designer of everything from this vast universe to the smallest particle. His ways are far beyond our ways. He doesn't need us, but yet he calls.
Okay, this we have entirely strayed away from actually talking about evolution. Like the video reference in Rhetoric and Discourse. Oh yes. Oh good, yes. No, I thought so. I want to know you on the inside. Can I come into you or no? Oh yeah, this is you guys are beyond parodies. This is why people make fun of you, right? Like you're a little bit you're taking this way too seriously. And you're being incredibly hyperbolic with your religious stuff. Oh, and you've also like strayed way off of what we were here for. We were here for talking about evolution. You're now talking about morality, spirituality, which are all, have those conversations. Fine, whatever, right? But probably not have them in a conversation about evolution. That seems like an inappropriate place to have them. I feel like they have it really there are plenty of religious individuals who accept evolution, and there is plenty of spiritual individuals who don't accept it. And either way, like, you can have those conversations, but evolution, I don't know what evolution has to do. Pretty much what I'm getting at.
Will you hear?
I am heard from the loudest voices, rock stars, movie stars, even many of your teachers, even powerful religious leaders.
Sorry, I love how she's trying to be sinister. Like, that is her sinister take right there. So somebody, the director, was like, I need you to make it seem like there's a cabal of evolution out there. So give me your best Illuminati like take that you have, and that was the best Illuminati take that she had. Oh.
I am the still small voice calling you to follow the Creator and submit to Him as a Savior.
What are the takes on creation? Want to know. I just want to know. Gallup poll. Okay. This is from almost a year ago. Washington, D.C., 40% of the U.S. adult describes strictly creationist views in the human origins, believing that God created their present form, which is roughly past 10,000 years. However, more Americans continue to think that humans evolved over millions of years, either with God's guidance or inclusive without God's guidance. So, I mean, you are getting into minority range. You're at 40%. You're getting there. Which is probably a good thing. I don't know if you're in the small quiet voice that you said. Like, that's you definitely put, like, I'll give you, if I wanted to give you a stretch, right? I'll give you that creationism or creationists are in the minority group. I won't give you that you're some tiny little unheard of, like, little squeaky tiny little voice. Like, oh no, poor creationists, they don't have a voice in the what's it called, the marketplace of ideas. Like, no, you do. You have a pretty big loud one. Probably get made fun of a lot, and again, it's probably because of videos like this more than anything else. I don't want to submit to God, so you can know me inside. That's not what I'm doing. Yeah, no, the whole God coming inside me God thing, I'm not okay with that.
I call a fetus a glob of tissue, a choice.
I call it a map.
Again, not evolution. Evolution has, these are all like, these are all moral questions and potentially interesting questions to be had. But none of these are intrinsically evolutionary. Like, goddamn, you can't. We haven't even gotten to your stupid lessons yet. God, this is so bad. No, this has nothing to do with abortion has nothing to do with evolution. Not evolution. It just doesn't. It's so weird. Just so weird.
Masterpiece of the Creator from the very first cell, with a lifetime of choices to make.
Oh, also, just because current news is and I feel like being relevant. The current issue in the U.S. If you don't live in the U.S., congratulations. Not live in a third world country. Good for you. For those of us stuck in the U.S., the current debate, and it's not even much of a debate. It's just a very loud minority that likes to be really loud, is that the party who touts its pro-life stance, right? The party who, creationist party who that says shit like, oh, you have a whole lifetime of choices, is trying to force people to go out and die, so that well, how many people have died in the U.S. now? I think we're at, like, what, are we at 80,000 yet from the virus? Like, they're pushing states to reopen, and they're pushing, like, people to go out and die now. So the same people who are more than willing to be like, hey, you can't get an abortion because that's life, aren't willing to be like, hey, stay at home so you don't. So just creationist yellow shirt man you're a bit of a hypocrite because you don't actually care about life. Like you care about this one weird stance, and this isn't like the virus isn't the spot that this happens. You see this all the time with like social programs that how pro-lifers are willing to stand against social programs that are beneficial for people, because they don't actually care about like life. They care about pushing this one rule on, not actual lifetime of choices, so we have free will. No. Free will question is always a good I personally don't believe in free will, but I kind of also, it's an I don't care kind of question for me. Well, virus is just a plot by the pro-green environmentalists to improve the environment. The Earth is returning to its original whatever. There's dolphins in Venice, something. If you replace God with magic or snow color, it would make about the same amount of sense. In this sentence, yeah, in this case, yes, it would.
I am millions of years of death.
Death?
Yes. All the death through natural selection brought about life. Millions of years of death to get here. Death is my champion, and time and chance are his allies.
Yeah.
Death is my champion. I do love that sentence. I want that. I'm gonna grab more beer while I talk. Oh no, I suck. Falling over. I found beer. Death is my champion. Like so that only makes sense if you define death in both like death. That's such a weird because they have to redefine death, right? And they can't both be using the same definition in order for that sentence to make sense. Because if they're using just the colloquial definition of dead, like people die, it's not like creationists don't think that people die. It's not like they don't believe in death, right? Like people, human bodies stop functioning at a certain point, and people die. Which is what the definition that evolution uses. Either way, even if you're creationist and the Earth is only whatever 6,000 years old or whatever, most of the people who have ever lived are not most, like the vast 99% of the people who have ever lived are dead. I think, right? Am I getting that right? No, because yeah, there's been more than 8. I'd have to check. I hope that sentence is. But like, yes, most people are dead. By that definition, the only way you can get away with this is if creationists use a different definition of death, which is, which I mean, you're no longer talking about the same thing, which the only way to make your little argument. I cannot wait to die to get a better afterlife. That is why I cross the street without looking both ways. That is also, yeah. It does create a kind of nihilistic, like it's not nihilistic, right? Because there's definitely a care, but it's definitely like not care. Like I feel like if that's gonna be your stance, if your stance is going that you're better off dead, which I think is more or less what they're saying, is that you're better off dead. If that's gonna be it, then like what is the point of all the other, like what is the point of being alive? Like you should at every occasion be asking for, like, God, that sounds so weird, but like you shouldn't be thankful, for example, when you're not killed in a car accident, right? If you're truly going to believe in this stuff, if you're 100% going to buy into the idea that the life that you have now is crappy and that you're just sitting here waiting for a better life, then your only real way, I feel like, that you should be able to look at life is to say, it's not be thankful when you get into a car accident. It's to not be thankful for like having a long life. You should be striving for a quick, short life where you can die as quickly as possible, so that you might you can get to heaven the quickest, right? You shouldn't be wanting. It's a really weird way to view life, I think. Obviously, they don't see it this way, which is understandable why they. No, I'm not saying you should. Christians, please don't listen to R&D about the way that you should leave life. So your loved ones died. They were they were good Christians. High five. Yeah, like you should be celebrating deaths. Right? Like death should be a good thing for you, because it's not really death, right? It's not like you're not really dying. You're just shifting over to your next thing. Which also makes the anti-abortion thing kind of weird. Like if because like if we're like, this is the problem with this kind of thinking is like once you actually sit down and try to figure out like how like the logic behind it all, it kind of just falls apart. And this is one of those problems is you're gonna have like a pro-life stance. Like why do you have a pro-life stance? You shouldn't have a pro-life stance because if you know, if you have a fetus or a baby, let's go with your language, you have a baby who's born, they have the potential to make terrible choices and go to hell. So why not be pro-choice and just, you know, if they die in the womb, then they don't have an opportunity to be terrible, so they'll, you know, go on to heaven super quick too, like expedient right there, right? So it just shows you that you don't actually believe things as concretely as you say you do. Your creation.
Yes, I, the creation, groan in pain because of sin and death. But death was the payment for the wrongs we commit, not a way to advance the world. Yet within me is also evidence of new life. The way I am sustained, the miracle of a tree growing from a tiny seed, all point to my Creator, Jesus Christ, the one who stretched out the universe and allowed.
Oh goodness, we've gotten to preachy bits. Sorry, we're like super preachy bits. I just had to stop to take a break from all this. Okay, more preachy bits.
Allowed his human hands to be stretched out and nailed to a cross to pay off that death sentence for me and for you. It's free for anyone willing to admit their wrongs and believe that he died and rose again. Amazing life. Eternal life.
Believe in me and you can have.
Okay, so that was useless preaching. Yeah, no, we all need out. Yeah, this is just rambling. Like that's all that was. I wasn't for a video about debunking evolution. We're doing a whole lot of not that. It's just a whole lot of preachiness, and let's see what great argument Evolution Girl has to
Have your own way today and die tomorrow, and I will be served. For when you die, there will be no reason for your random existence.
Believe in God and you.
Oh, that's also weird. God, you guys are okay. You guys are having like a preacher rap battle. Are you back in Germany? You're not back in Germany. You're still in Denmark, right? I'm really sad. Oh. So if you didn't know this, and maybe I haven't talked about it in a while because his reasons, but entirely, is that I was supposed to, and I might, I don't know. I don't know if I will or won't. I have a trip planned for Georgia. Not this week, but the week after. To go. I was gonna go visit a friend. The plan was to go and go sit in a cabin out in the woods for like a few days and relax. Which is why I'm thinking I might still want to do it, just because I get to go sit in a cabin in the middle and relax, and I very much so social distance at that point because I'm just gonna go sit in a cabin away from everyone. But one of the things that was gonna happen there is that I was going to get a chance to meet up with Awkward Pasta and Microbloganism. We were gonna meet up, and we had it all planned out. Meet up in Atlanta, Georgia, and now I can't. Cabin in the Woods, that never goes wrong in the documentaries I've seen. It's true. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if I'll be able. Like, I don't know if I can go or if I can't go. I have some fairly strict rules about, like, I'm supposed to stay at home. So I don't know if I can or not. It's a tough choice that I don't want to make. I got a new video to add to your options for next week. Carl just dropped a psychoanalysis of Sims on his channel. That might be fun. Yes, tweet that at me and or message about it, and I will add it. Always enjoy a good car. I don't think we've ever done a Stargon video on this show. I don't think we have. Anti-choice advocates are not the interested in being pro-life post-birth. It's very much so. Wait, Carl or another Carl? I think it's Carl gone. Okay, here we go. Deep breaths, everyone. We're going back in.
You will find ultimate purpose, the plan he had for you since the very foundation of the earth, because he loves you. Stop!
Choose me, just accept it, nod your head, agree, then move on. Oh man, I've claimed the lives of so many. Today you believe in me a little. Tomorrow, you believe in your myth a little less.
No. Think. Don't just believe because everybody else does. Because if you look,
Oh, dear creationist, don't say that.
really look at me and the words he revealed, you'll see him. Find him and you will find life. Eternal life. It's your choice. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life
And death.
blessing.
And cursing.
Therefore choose life.
Oh goodness, what? This isn't. I thought you were going to do the orc videos. It didn't get enough votes. The orc videos didn't get enough votes. It's still on there for next time. Gosh, this is real bad.
Life that both you and your descendants may live.
I really hope it makes you think.
I'm sorry. I bet they're in favor of the death penalty. I'm sure they are. Oh, sorry, that was just. And so it turns out that evolution is just creation, like in disguise. I guess, was that the point? I don't. I've been very confused by the ending. So is evolution just creationism in disguise? Which it might be. It might just be. Which makes me wait. Like, then what's the problem? I guess. Like, then it's like I am. By also a little bit unnecessarily hyperbolic. So it's all good. The only thing I think there is why in the U.S. is so full. Why is the U.S. so full? That's a you know what? The world may never know. The world may. All right, I think we got there. That was lesson 1. That was a whole lesson right now. God, I feel robbed. Lesson 2: Bible history, real or fiction? Radiometric dating and uniformitarianism.
Is it just me, or is dating rocks not all it's cracked up to be?
That was a terrible joke. Suggestion: we do a complete debunking of his step-by-step. Who's step-by-step? Of this thing step-by-step. I mean, we're getting there. We're at step 2. We have a long video to go through. Oh goodness. Yeah, this might be something that we do in more than one part. I'd be okay with. You always enjoy. We haven't had guests. We had guests last time, I think. Okay, we got this. Oh, we got the intro again. Radiometric dating.
He's late. Again.
Sorry, I am late, Jane.
No problem.
Oh no, they're all gonna be sketches like this. Oh no.
Oh, you've been jogging?
Yeah, I'm trying to get down to weight for the wrestling match this weekend.
Okay, well, we'd better get studying.
I got one more thing to do. I gotta weigh in.
Right now?
Yes, right now. I gotta get down below 230 before this weekend. Otherwise, I'll get kicked up to the next weight division and have to face Jimmy the Python Peretti.
I'm sorry. I'm it's bad sketches all the way down. When we talk about works, it's closer to reality than this stuff. Honestly, at this point, yes. Oh, these are terrible. Oh, no. Anyone ever heard of last Thursdaysium? Yes. Tell us more about his python. Yeah, the python. Sounds we don't kink shame around here. Sounds, you do you at your wrestling group. You do you at your wrestling group.
Jimmy the Python.
Yeah, he got his nickname after he squeezed a kid so hard that he was crawling to class for 3 days.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that. Poor kid.
All right.
Don't drink the water. You'll have water weight.
Oh no, I'll be fine.
Okay, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm not. Okay. I don't I understand more or less how weighing into wrestling ish works. You're not at 245, buddy, and you're trying to get to the lower division. You might as well I feel like at that point you might as well stay in your division and get good at your division. Like, God, you have 35 pounds. Get through. Do weights change that much? I feel like you might as well just stick at the higher poundage, buddy. Like, you just stay up there. It's fine. If you want to lose before you weigh in, you want to drink a ton of water, though. Yeah, right. So you want to lose lose weight before I weigh in. I don't even remember how that works. I feel like I'm getting this wrong. Are you mostly water weight, buddy? Is that where we're at? All right, I don't even know. This is such a weird. Okay, finish your stupid sketch.
Oh no.
What's wrong?
245.
Oh.
245. Do you know what that means?
You know what? You'll be able to get down. Do not worry about it.
By Saturday, Jimmy the Python, here I come.
I'm sorry, John. Hey, maybe if you just grease yourself down, you'll just slip right out of his hands.
That's okay. Let's just get back to studying so I can go work out.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been doing a little
I'm sorry. I'm just struggling all around with this. It is okay. Things. You drink a ton of water until like the day before the weigh-in, and then you drink nothing. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. You pretty much, yeah, okay. Is it a belief about the universe could have been created last Thursday with all the humanity and universe intact as it was, as it is odd as it sounds, but is entirely possible. Oh yeah. I think it's that's meant to be just like a it's just meant to have you question like how to question how you know that things in the happened, and so yeah, it's that. I think that's what it's meant for. That scenario that you question, like, how do I genuinely know that yesterday happened or whatever, that Tuesday happened if the universe was created on Thursday? How do I know that Tuesday actually happened? Not
healthy eating myself.
Well, if you want to get on the scale, be my guest.
In front of you? I don't think so.
All right. Just offering.
Jesus fuck, get to the point. I'm gonna stop pausing and just talk
Phone
over
call. I gotta take this
it.
one.
Is it Jimmy the Python?
Hello, this is John. Sorry about that. We're working on radiometric dating, right?
Yep. Yeah. Radiometric dating.
Jane?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Sure.
this is really like.
I've noticed
God.
this is one of the most heated battles.
No, okay, I'm sorry. Are we there yet? I think we're finally there yet. Jimmy has more Python to deliver. I think so. God. Okay, I'm sorry. That was really boring and really bad.
This whole dating issue?
Well, that's because time is at the foundation for everything evolutionary theory teaches. Look, just read this section right here.
Evolution takes a long time. If life has evolved, then Earth must be very fat.
Let's go back. Let's go back for this. Let's actually read.
Evolution.
Age of the Earth. I wish I knew what book this is so we can buy it, but you know. Okay. Evolution takes a long time. If life has evolved, then the Earth must be very old. Hutton and Lyle argued that Earth was indeed very old, but technology in their day couldn't determine just how old. Half a century after Darwin published his theory, however, physicists discovered radioactivity. Geologists now use radioactivity to establish the age of certain rocks and fossils. This kind of data could have shown that the Earth is young. If that had happened, Darwin's ideas would have been refuted and abandoned. Instead, radioactive dating indicates that the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old, plenty of time for evolution by natural selection to take place. Okay. I'm assuming this is some kind of like middle school book for these high schoolers, college kids. I don't know. They look old. That's what I'm thinking. How's this really? I don't know. I don't know how their sketch is related to radiometric dating. We're gonna get probably another twist at the end of this here. Kind of how we ended up finding out that evolution was really just creationism. I'm sure there's a twist. There's a twist at the end of this. I mean, it must be very old because of the fact that it's very old. Sounds like early middle school, 7th grade. Yeah. Okay. Probably skewing the scales. Oh.
Evolution takes a long time. If life has evolved, then Earth must be very fat.
Old. Yeah, it says old.
Okay, and down here?
Yeah. Geologists now use radioactivity to establish the age of certain rocks and fossils. This kind of data could have shown that the Earth is young.
If that had happened, Darwin's ideas would have been refuted and abandoned. Instead, radioactive dating indicates the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old.
I do like, if nothing else, I'll give this. I mean, it's a book, right? Credit here. Is that it shows the thing that Dane and John were arguing about earlier in their last sketch, like about how evolution just kind of like, what's the thing? It shapes itself to the evidence, but here is a perfect example of how it doesn't. Right? There's a hypothesis. Excuse me. Evolution tells us that in order for it to work, the Earth must be very old. If the Earth isn't very old, then evolution can't happen. So it's a very clear, like, if, like, this wasn't an ad hoc explanation, this was if we had actually found out that the Earth wasn't that old, then evolution would have been thrown out. It was a doable test, and it was done, and it just happened to line up to evolution for some inexplicable reason. It happens to match with evolution. Imagine that, right? Radio dating is far from the only evidence we have in the age of the Earth. That's also true. It's not the only evidence, and it's the one that creationists like to whine about the most. It's the one we're probably going to talk about. But oh, there we go.
Plenty of time for evolution and natural selection to take place.
Wow, it seems that the foundation of evolutionary theory sure depends on radiometric dating. Radiometric dating is used to support the belief that millions of years exist for evolution to happen.
Yep, and like they said, the entire age of the Earth rests upon radiometric dating.
I don't think they said that. I don't like. No, like no, you jumped. I don't think they said. I'm gonna go back, but I don't think they said that at all. Like half a century after Darwin published his theories, however, physicists discover radioactivity. Geologists now use radioactivity to establish the age of the Earth of certain rocks. Sorry, geologists now use radioactivity to establish the age of certain rocks and fossils. This kind of data could have shown the Earth is young. If that had happened, Darwin's ideas would have been refuted and abandoned. Instead, radioactive dating indicates that the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. So nowhere in that, and I'm going to keep this up, because nowhere in that does it actually say that the age of the Earth rests on solely radioactive dating. Like the nowhere anywhere in there does it say that at all. So you're just making shit up, John. You're just making shit up, John, about it. It's not you've added the whole it depends on it. Evolution depends on a whole lot of time, but it doesn't necessarily. But like the the age of the Earth does not depend on just radioactive dating. Somebody has already pointed out in the chat. There is more than one way to. There's more than one way for for us to determine the age of the Earth. Radioactive dating is just one. Okay, the sketch does need more Monty Python. Certainly does. Okay, let's go forward so we don't.
They said the entire age of the Earth rests upon radiometric dating. It sure seems that they're putting a lot of faith in something that they can't actually test through direct observation. After
we're gonna do the direct observation thing. I like the ones who do the was it historical versus scientific or not? Is oh god, somebody does this, which is hilarious. Like I can't what's the one that's always used? The murder, like if like you whatever you show up at your house, the broken windows everywhere, your wife is dead. Let's go with wife. Your wife is dead, and somebody is standing outside holding a knife. According to this asshole, you wouldn't be able to at all say that he stabbed your wife because you didn't see it happen. So therefore, just can't. So pretty much all of forensic science of any variety is just thrown out the window. You just can't have forensic science. You can't infer those things unless you directly observe something. Excuse me. You can't infer the cause of it, which is entirely like anti-science. I love the sciencey. I love the people who pretend to be sciencey and then say anti-sciencey. Inferring things is fine. Having strong evidence for them is fine. You don't have to directly observe everything. Some things are not directly observable. If you're going to again, just like the hypocrisy you showed in your first sketch, if we're going to take this stance that the only things that you can directly observe are true, then you have at that point just about as much evidence as anyone else does about the things that occurred in your book, right? Because you can't observe. You can't possibly have ever observed. So you don't know that Jesus rose, or you don't know that that he was parted, or you don't know what Adam and Eve was in the gardens. Hell, I don't think, as far as I know, from the way the Bible is written, that I don't think Adam and Eve were attributed for writing the story of Adam and Eve. Like somebody apparently who wasn't there wrote Adam and Eve, even from your own biblical standpoint. So how do you say that the only evidence that you'll accept is evidence that you can see yourself, and yet still believe in things that you can't see yourself? Like if we're gonna have this stupid argument, then that's kind of the natural conclusion of the argument. The argument about radiometric dating is beaten to by fossil record. If I find a fossilized tribalite 20 feet down, what is this idiot's response? I would love to know what the response is. Just about any question we have.
After all, plenty of assumptions go into these calculations.
If it were to be disproved, their whole worldview would seem to collapse. Without billions of years, you can't have biological evolution or geological evolution on Earth.
Pretty epic, eh?
Geological evolution, by the way, is not a thing. I don't think it's a thing. I'm pretty sure it's not a thing. I'm pretty sure you're full of shit.
So, based on their dating methods, they've come up with an age for each section of the geologic column that we find on the very next page.
And based on that, they determine the age of the Earth to be about 4.5 billion years old.
Actually, the age of the Earth is based on the dating of certain meteorites. They assume these meteorites formed at the same time as the Earth, and that dating the meteorites will give us the age of the Earth. With that as a start, they then construct the ages of the...
Okay. So if we're going to sit here and oversimplify the way that we do things, and entirely avoid the process of like you're making it sound, and very deliberately, honestly, making it sound like this is just made up out of whole cloth. rather than the fact that, so when you do things like dating, right? You don't just take, I'm gonna grab dig a hole, grab a rock, and then date that rock, and then this is now the age of that. Like you don't do that. You don't say now this is how we date things. Is literally just pick one spot and dig it, right? Like all of this data, all of the dating is done from multiple things being dated. So you go out to the field, and even this is still an oversimplification, but at least it's a little bit better than theirs. You go and you dig 2 holes that are like 200 meters each, or whatever. You pull out a rock from both of them at separate areas, and you measure both of them separately. Hell, you take them to do 2 different labs or whatever. You measure, you date both of them, and then if they match up, hey, gives you a pretty good idea. Also, radiometric dating isn't like super specific anyway, so you kind of get a range. Go. But you do that, so you have not like whatever 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 data points to look at, but you have a bunch of different data points to look at, and they all somehow miraculously, right, according to them, somehow all match up to the same thing, and they attribute that to like people making shit up rather than the fact that they all line up because they all point to the same thing. I mean, it's a thing in the sense that evolution is of a car. It's true. Yeah, geological evolution is the thing in the same way that car evolution. It's also only 1 billion years. Earth was sterile for a billion years. Oh, wrong one. Here we go.
The layers in the column based primarily on the layers of volcanic ash and igneous rock. Cookie, I'm not gonna be.
Thanks. Wow, so they don't even use rock from Earth. I guess there's another something you don't hear about in class. So.
Okay. So, when it comes to how I guess I don't. Is that again? So you take the rocks around us, around in space around us. You take those rocks, and if it turns out that those rocks are more or less the same age as the rocks on Earth, excuse me, it kind of gives you an idea that hey, these were probably all around at the same time. So what you are saying, and incorrectly creating the straw man, is that rather than it being like, hey, they take multiple samples from multiple rocks on Earth and space and all that, and then they all come together as a nice big web of data. You're saying, you're projecting. People just take one sample, and that is the sample you use. Again, that's not actually how it happens, but it's how you're going to portray that it happens, so that it sounds stupid rather than the actual way that it happens, which takes a whole lot more time and is more systematic than. Like they assume these are like the secret scientists don't want you to know, while in reality they literally write tons of papers on it. Yes, that is the other thing. Like this isn't like this book says that it is and then doesn't back it up. I bet in that book, 100% guarantee that in that book there are citations to the studies about this, and I bet those studies have citations to all the studies that they got it from. I bet those studies have citations to all the studies that they got their information from. It's not just one person decided that this is it. This is years and years and years of study and years and years and years of data collection, all being compiled together and analyzed, and to define what the age of the Earth is. It's not about like one or two things, like, oh, we're just gonna randomly pick. No, like it takes it's far more complicated and far more extensive than what you are willing to say, random.
So, for the test, could you remind me about how radiometric dating works?
Sure. Can you hand me my water bottle?
Wow, this thing's still half frozen.
Mm-hmm. Now, pretend the water bottle is a rock. Jane, what are you doing?
Pretending it's a rock.
Okay. Well, rocks contain radioactive material called the parent element, or isotope, which decays into a non-radioactive stable product known as the daughter element, or isotope.
Okay, I remember now. So, It's like the ice that slowly melts into the water.
Yeah. And in the biology book, there's a chart here that shows potassium-40 decaying into argon-40.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I had to pause for just a second. Spicy rock slowly becomes less spicy. I like that. I like that.
I see. So based on how we can measure it today, we assume that every 1.3 billion years, the amount of potassium-40 decreases by half.
Right, a radioactive half-life. So when they discover a rock, they can measure the amount of parent material and the amount of daughter product, and using a chart like this, determine how old it is.
So what's wrong with this method?
Well, the methods measure only the amounts of isotopes in the rock. This is good science because it is observable and repeatable. It just gives the ratio of one element to another. But the age is an interpretation of those measurements, not an observation. And that interpretation assumes answers to all kinds of untested questions. What if the rock already had a daughter isotope in it from the very beginning? Or what if the rock gets contaminated? Or what if the rate of decay was rattled at some point in the past?
Okay, so again, see, God, same exact problem. Like, yes, these are okay. These are legitimate questions to ask, which is exactly why you don't take one sample and then say that this sample represents all possible samples, right? Like, God, statistical analysis is obviously something that you don't bother to be taught. You take all the things, right? And you get multiple samples. Bullshit. The fundamental fact of nature is that half-life is constant for each isotope. For the whether it was rattled, yes. Sorry, whether half-life was changed or not. Sure. If we want, yes, your GeoServer is correct. Like, you can't mess with half-life. That ends up with radioactivity being fucking weird. And you don't want to do. But again, this still assumes this thing where, like, they take one sample and then they assume that this one sample is the one answer. Everything. Potholer, a geologist and YouTuber, has some great videos about the age of rocks and rocks formation. Yeah. Yes. So, at the end of the day, it's not. So pretty much what they're telling you is, they found a rock, and who knows? Maybe it was exposed to something. Maybe it wasn't preserved. Like rocks, there might have been contaminated. There might be something wrong with this rock. Things have changed. How do we know that that this rock actually says, what it says is correct? So one, again, it's not just the one rock. You don't just take the one rock and say this is very clearly one rock that tells us the exact thing. That is not how that works. Because the half-life of each isotope is a function of the absolute function of natural constants. Good luck fiddling with those. Yes. So some of your complaints, like the fact that the half-life can somehow be changed, is a little bit on more than a little. It's definitely more in the fantasy realm of things that you can half-life of something. So you forget like all the science that goes around geology. Like this stuff isn't just said. Isn't just made up out of whole cloth. That's the word. It's not just made out, like, it's not just said out of whole cloth. Like, it's all said from years and years of research on rocks and years of testing. You just assume that because it is said by your book that it's just like a source. Also, probably because you're accustomed to it, you probably think that because this book says it, that it's only taken as truth because the book says it, rather because that's how you approach books. You approach books as the book says it's true, therefore it must be true, and so you assume that everyone else does that. No, the book isn't saying that it's true because it says it's true. The book is saying that it is true because there is a whole lot of science behind it, and like I said earlier, it probably has a lot of citations about where it gets its information. You're still alive. I am for a little bit.
What was the original ratio of parent to daughter isotope? one must assume no parent or daughter material was added or removed from the rock, and that the rate of decay has always been constant over millions and millions of years.
So the constant part, that one is a good assumption, because if it weren't, if Half-Life weren't constant, like the rules of everything, like the rules of nature would be like that is like that is like saying that that to say that water boils at whatever 100 degrees Celsius at, is it 100 Celsius? 100 degrees Celsius at sea level. To assume that is crazy. It's crazy to assume that water always boils at 100 degrees Celsius at sea level. That is insane, because maybe it didn't in the past, maybe it won't in the future. But in order for it to not work that way, you'd have to really fuck around with like all of the rules of nature, all the laws of nature. Like it's not just this one variable. Like you've been messing with so many things. Again, if you fiddle with Half-Life, you have to fiddle with with shit like vacuum, permeability constant, and also C. That'll fuck everything up. Yes, yeah. So yeah, it's just it's not an assumption as much as it is that if it didn't work this way, things would be entirely very, very different. The Half-Lives could change the atom bombs wouldn't work if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I don't actually know how Half-Lives would affect that. Okay, a little bit more and then we'll be all done for the day.
Are those assumptions wrong? I mean, if you start with false assumptions, you could get really bad dates.
Well, many scientists think they are, and our textbooks don't even tell us about all the assumptions required to date the rock. But
they're not assumptions. Like, you call them assumptions. You call them assumptions because, I don't know, you're too lazy to look up the articles that actually talk about them, to go through the references that the book makes, right? Even the book, again, even the book doesn't actually make these statements out of whole cloth. There are in those books, in each one of these books, there are references to where they got their information. They cite where they got it, because they're not making assumptions. They're just telling you what's there, and you can go through all of that research yourself and do it, and check it out and see if it's what assumptions they're making. A citation needed about the what he said, geologists who disagree. Is that what he said?
I mean, if you start with false assumptions, you could get really bad dates.
well, many scientists think they are.
Many scientists think they are. I'm sure that there, depending on how you define many, I'm sure that there are more than one scientist who disagree with these dates. I'm sure there are, because doctors like Dr. Lyle exist. So I wouldn't be surprised if you could find people who work in the field who disagree with, not work in the field, people who are scientists who disagree with that. I'm sure you could. It's also not having a scientist from, like, having a biologist disagree with the results of geology is also not, like, they're a scientist. I'm not going to deny you that a biology isn't, like, a biologist isn't a scientist, but having a biologist disagree with a geologist about the age of the Earth doesn't hold as much weight as you think it does. So it really, I get a feeling that I don't want to say that he's wrong, because I'm sure that he is right. There are many scientists who disagree. It's just, I'm also very certain that the way that he defines scientists is incredibly dishonest, and I'm also very, very sure that the way that he the way that what he calls a science, like what he says that a scientist doesn't agree with, isn't like a scientist, a geologist, a scientist in a different field. Miller, and you found the book, Miller and Levine, Biology, Chapter 3, Student Edition, Darwin's Theory of Evolution. Ooh, neat. You can probably find many scientists who think 5G causes COVID-19. not people of relevant field, but still, yeah. Yeah, that's part of the problem. There was that one list that existed in God, who made this list? Like scientists against evolution, or scientists who speak out against evolution, or something like that. I forget that there's a list that exists out there of like hundreds, if not, I think thousands of scientists that disagree with evolution. And I don't believe that those people aren't scientists, but they're probably not biologists, which should already tell you a whole bunch. I think a lot of what they do is they also have a very interesting definition of scientists. So you have people like engineers, which again are potentially scientifically minded individuals, but they're definitely not into biology. Like if you find me a whole slew of geologists who disagree with radiometric dating and the way that we date the Earth, that's one thing, John. Like if you can find those people, that's evidence. If the only thing that you can find are a bunch of chemists or a bunch of biologists or a bunch of psychologists who disagree with the age of the Earth, I am not going to buy it because it's not their field of expertise. They don't know jack shit about geology. All right, here we go.
Our textbooks don't
Thank you
even
for the
tell us about all the assumptions required to date the rock. But the most convincing evidence is all the crazy dates they get with radioisotope methods. I wonder if our teacher even knows all the assumptions behind radiometric dating. To be fair, there are lots of dates that agree with one another, but there are many examples of different mineral components of a rock giving very different radiometric dates, and very often different isotope systems give different ages for the same rock. So how can you know which one is the right age, if any? And then there are rocks we
There's probably a lot of citation here. My mom is a chemist and disagrees with the age of the Earth. Yeah. And there's, like I've said this before about like Dr. Jordan Peterson. He's a doctor in psychology. That doesn't, like, he's still a fucking idiot about a lot of things. Being an expert in one thing doesn't make you an expert in everything. I'm into biology and geology, but I wouldn't assume that I know more about their fields than that. Yeah. It gets dangerous to start to find people who disagree, like who if you go out there and try to look for people who disagree with the status quo, you will find them. You will find plenty of doctors who are I'm sure you will find plenty of scientists in any field who disagree with just about any other field of science, right? There's plenty of people who are like, yeah, I'm a doctor of psychology and I think that COVID-19 is caused by 5G, or I'm a geologist and I think that the Earth is flat. Like, I'm sure you can find. I don't doubt that you can find those people. How much you should trust them is definitely an eh. To be honest, you can probably just convince people of your dumb position. Okay. He also disagreed with me. Okay, with that said, I think we're gonna stop this nonsense here. I'm gonna keep this video in the in my list here, and maybe we'll try to do more videos with guests who are far more proficient. I'm an artist, and COVID-19 is totally caused by 5G. I believe you. Yeah, so we'll maybe try to have some other people join us for things and stuff, because I think that would be fun. So we'll do that. I think that's about all I got for you all today. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Social distance. Don't go to work if you don't have to. I have to. Please, hopes and dreams, or whatever that's called. Thoughts and hopes, thoughts and dreams. Prayers and thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. I'm going to. I know this is looking nice, but it's gonna have to get trimmed because it's face mask time again. So yeah. Have yourselves all a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you all next time.